Today we will talk about hierarchical metadata. Another really important feature of the edit of DSpace-CRIS is that you can also manage hierarchical metadata. Let's say that you want to specify your employment. So I want to say that Andrea Bollini is currently the CTO of For Science, and as you see, I also get suggestions. This comes from the internal database of DSpace, but also from the research organization registry. So I can pick For Science as my affiliation, and I can set the start date from when I started to work in this specific position. That is quite common, that you could have multiple positions in your career. You move to different roles in the same organization, you move across organizations. You can add multiple additional roles to your affiliation record, and you can start just copying the previous role. If you need to differentiate the role, for instance, and let's say it's just a test, and this position was covered for science from 2015 to 2016. As you see, there is a new tab up here that is named Other, and where some of the information that they have entered are displayed, so you can check my affiliation. We have already seen that the hierarchical metadata are quite precious when we need to describe the career of the education of a person. This was the case of our test account, where we want to describe the two different roles that this researcher has had in the organization over different period of time. But the need for hierarchical metadata is common to a large supported by DSpace, but they have some level of hierarchy. So let's look to a publication in the system I am in this test system publication that was written 20 years ago with Tim, the technical leader of DSpace. And as you see, the authors are currently identified, and or one of the author is Andrea Bollini. And if you visit Andrea Bollini's profile, you can discover that he's currently working in For Science. But what about this publication? This publication was authored when Andrea was not in For Science. And so I would like to have Andrea's affiliation at the time of this publication in the publication metadata, because this information belongs to the publication. So let's edit this publication information. As you see, we will use the edit feature of DSpace-CRIS that is much more user-friendly and safe than the feature corresponding in the plain DSpace. So how we identify the order metadata in this publication? You see that there is Tim and there is Andrea. I can have the affiliation for Tim. At the time of this publication, Tim was affiliated at the University of Illinois. And as you see, I'm suggested to use information from the raw registry. So I will pick the University of Illinois. For Andrea, at this time, was affiliated to the Italian consortium of University Cineca. And I can now save this information. In the publication, now you see that besides the author name, we have the affiliation that was used for this specific publication. And there is no way to manage this information in a plain DSpace, because this information really belongs to the publication and is strictly related to the author. So this is a concrete example of hierarchical metadata where for each author you need to collect details about the affiliation used in this specific publication. There are many more examples of the article metadata. If you start to collect information about related items that are outside of your repository, it's quite common that you want to structure this information to collect which kind of relationship exists between the item that you're describing and other items. It could be supplement, it could be additional data and translation and new versions. And you want to collect situation for other objects. Another important aspect of hierarchical information, and as we say, these information are coupled together. So Tim is associated with the University of Illinois, and Bolini Andrea, for this specific publication, is associated with Cineca. If I go to edit, as you see, I have this information here. I can see the detail and I can rearrange this information. Just drag and drop the author. And of course, when I switch Bolini with Tim, the affiliation stays with the author. Andrea still was affiliated to Cineca at the time of this publication, and Tim was affiliated to the University of Illinois. Thank you for watching.